What I would like to do today is share with you some tips on how best to try out mouthpieces so you can come to a more informed decision on whether or not you should change to something new or stick with what you've got right now. Today I just received a new mouthpiece. It's a D'Addario Select Jazz number 7 for tenor. It's a hard rubber mouthpiece. I'm going to go ahead and try it out. And I was originally going to do a mouthpiece review, but I don't really like mouthpiece reviews since everyone is different and the sound everyone is looking for varies. I do believe that everyone should try out mouthpieces on their own and come to their own conclusions as to whether or not a mouthpiece is right for them. Okay, first tip is to order your mouthpieces from an online retailer that offers a refund, a full refund and free shipping if that's available. This piece I'm playing right now is the Van Doren V16 Metal T7 medium chamber. When I bought it, I ordered 3 mouthpieces, this one and 2 others, and I tried them out and I compared and I stuck with the one that fit me and what I'm looking for in my saxophone sound best. I then returned the 2 others, got a full refund. Everybody's happy. If I didn't like this mouthpiece, I would have sent that back as well. No problem. Sometimes your local music store will allow you to do this as well. Ask them if they're willing to let you take home a couple mouthpieces and try them out. Fantastic. Now, when you're trying out mouthpieces, always use a mouthpiece patch and clean them, swab them out when you're finished playing on them. That's just good common practice before sending something back potentially. So when you order your mouthpieces online, get a pack of patches as well. I always use a patch on my mouthpiece. I prefer the feel. It kind of protects your teeth. It protects the mouthpiece. So if you're ever going to resell the piece in the future, you're going to get more money for an unblemished mouthpiece. When you order pieces online, you can try them at home. Now, I'm always practicing in my studio here. I know the sound of this room really well. So when I play a new mouthpiece in here, I will know immediately the things that are different because of the mouthpiece. If I was playing in some music store or somewhere I'm unfamiliar with, there's going to be lots of other variables that I don't know, and I don't know if it's the room that's making the difference or the mouthpiece that's making the difference. So to eliminate all those extra variables, it's better to try out new mouthpieces in the environment you're used to playing in. By the same token, it's a great idea to, if you have a gig or a rehearsal space that you go to regularly and you're familiar with the sound, to take the mouthpiece on that gig or to that rehearsal and try it there. That's going to give you a good idea if it can do the things that you need it to do in a performance situation. The way I play in my studio here is not exactly the same way I'm going to play on a gig. Sometimes on a gig, I'm going to need to play very, very soft or very, very loud and everything in between. In my practice room, I'm not forced to do extremes as much because there's no other noise here and there's no people eating dinner that I have to be careful about offending. Another tip is don't use old reeds to try out your new mouthpiece. This reed I've only been playing on since yesterday on this mouthpiece. But if you have a reed that you've been playing on for a few days or a week and it's kind of married to your mouthpiece, if you take it off and put it on a new mouthpiece, it is not going to necessarily perform well because it's adopted the shape of the old mouthpiece. It's best to be unbiased. It's best to get some new reeds out and use them. I also recommend trying a variety of reed strengths and brands to find out what works best with the new mouthpiece. I've got loads of different mouthpieces that I could compare this new mouthpiece to, but there's no point in comparing too many different mouthpieces at once. I think a good number is 3. With 3, you can get a good idea of what you're dealing with. If you're trying out too many mouthpieces, by the time you get to the end of the line, you're going to forget what the first one sounded like. Another good idea is to write down your impressions of each reed strength and each reed brand on each of the mouthpieces that you try. You can also video or at least record you playing on the mouthpieces. This will also help you remember later when it comes time to make a decision. I recommend trying out a mouthpiece over the course of days or even weeks if you can. Sometimes you might know right away, this is not for me, or this mouthpiece is awesome. But it's always a good idea if you're leaning towards a mouthpiece to really put it through the works and try it in a lot of different situations before you commit to it. Some of these mouthpieces, like the one I just bought here, I got this was 170 euros. It's expensive. If I'm not going to play it, I'm not going to keep it. I'm going to send it back. Okay, first, just to get started, I'm going to give you an idea of kind of what I sound like now. I've got the mouthpiece ready. I've got a ligature. This is a Van Doren ligature, just a basic one. Rigotti Gold Jazz 3-strong reed. Forgot to put the patch on there. Remember to do the suction test. The tip feels a bit different. It feels a bit thinner and it feels larger. Doesn't mean it necessarily is bigger tip opening than the other one. It just feels that way. Yeah, it's quite a tight fit. Definitely needs cork grease. Okay, first impressions, that's really good. I've heard other people say that it's got this mouthpiece in particular has very good response in the low register, and my first impressions can confirm that so far. Let's try the same thing with another reed. Here I've got a D'Addario Jazz Select 3 medium. This is my Reed Geek. I use this to flatten the table. It makes a big difference. Okay, so far my impression of this mouthpiece is that it's definitely worth playing on it for a few days or a week to really see what it can do. Defect in it. See that? It's like a splinter coming out. And I still haven't really found the exact right match. It's going to take me hours of playing this. I got to try playing lots of Altissimo, and I got to play it on gigs. I got gigs every day this week, so I'm going to play this mouthpiece, and I'll let you know how it works out. So when making your final decision about purchasing a mouthpiece or not, remember that the most important thing is what feels good to you. Don't fall for marketing hype about the latest, newest mouthpiece that's out on the market, and don't fall for the hype about the magical, mystical, vintage pieces. Just because a saxophone player that you like sounds good on a particular mouthpiece doesn't mean that that's going to be right for you. Remember that most of the sound coming out of your instrument is you. Don't think that an expensive mouthpiece is going to make you sound great all on its own. It doesn't work that way. A good mouthpiece is a piece of equipment that allows you to do what you need to do on the saxophone more easily. It should be reliable and consistent and work well with a variety of reeds. The rest is up to you. If you got some value out of this video today, please click the like button. I'd also love to hear in the comments section below about the mouthpieces and reed setups that you guys are using and what's working for people out there nowadays. Also, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel with one click right here if you haven't done so already.